Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside the East Hants Sportsplex for this Nova Scotia Senior Hockey League matchup between the visiting Pictou County Shoreline Pipers and your home team, the East Hants Penguins. The Penguins 11-0-1 sitting atop these standings here so far, and Pictou, don't let them fool you. Although winless so far on the season, they have not been out of too many games. Starting goaltender first for the Penguins, number 31, Brian Gillis, a 7-1 record, 3.36 GAA. And 227 saves to boot. We're going to go down to the Pipers' goal. I'm not entirely sure who number 92 is. According to my roster, we have Andrew McLeod. My name, Matt Doodle, here for High Button Sports. We thank you for tuning in here as we continue coverage here of the Nova Scotia Senior Hockey League. Ty Hunter getting the start here. Cross ice pass, too much sauce on dinner there as that one's going to get poked free. Now is Scullion. He's going to go back the other way with Wenzel. Scullion down the right side, poked free. Legier through the middle of the ice. Couldn't complete the play. Right out to the blue line. Good transition play now as the Penguins run over the line. Scullion trying to go through the seam. Picked off. Wenzel to the right side. Shot there. Rebounds loose in front. Still there. Wenzel finds the loose puck. Turn, shoots, save made. Rebound loose once again in front of the net. That's going to be lofted off the wall and up into the neutral zone. Chipped free. That one's going to go off the stick of Wenzel, they say. Icing negated. Drop back now for the call up here, Camden McKenzie. He tried to rip one off the wall there. And kind of fanned on it now as Captain Burke will pick it up. He gets around the first four-checker. He works down into the corner. McKenzie back for it. He takes a bump there. Comes all the way to the blue line. That one's going to come out, so the Penguins will have to re-rack here in the neutral zone. Slows it down. McKenzie just played here last night for the Junior B Coal Harbor Colts. That's a bank pass. That one's going to go all the way down onto goaltender Gillis, and with a couple blue jerseys streaking in, he will cover it up. So quickly look at this before the face-off. Looks like we're going to run out of time here, but you see the head-to-head matchup here as we'll flip it back to gameplay. Go to the corner. Schufelt, the leading scorer here for the Penguins. Down the left side for Spears. He's going to cut into the middle. Forehand there off the post. All the way to the blue line. Bounced over the stick there of Pike. Fires it across for Thompson. Thompson will loop back in his own zone. He's got a man on him and Fudge. Worked up to the right side now. Spears will enter the zone. He's got numbers. Spears couldn't get around the defender, but he gets the best of him. So that's going to go to the left side for Fudge now. Through the middle. Couldn't complete the play there to Evan McLennan. Quick change over at the bench as that puck will get in deep. Back for it there is Oxner. Partners it across for McKenzie. McKenzie up the right side. Tipped inside the zone from the proper side of the red line. That was Keegan McCumber. Chipped off the wall now. Roddick, who dropped the mitts last night with Connor Baker. Back in the lineup here. Stopped up there. Cedric Ralph. Always a speed threat. He takes a bump into the high guy. Chip free. And now McCumber chips that off the wall. Back for it here is Riley Spears. Circling in his own zone. Through the middle of the ice. That'll escape everybody, but another bounce out front. Goodwin shot there. They score. Another sneak attack on the Penguins bounce. And Goodwin strikes first here. Put the hometown crowd on their feet early. So those lively end boards here at the East Hants Sportsplex, if you've watched a game here before, you've seen a couple goals. You've seen Alex Rude score at least one, where they dump that puck through the middle. Everyone thinks it's icing, and the Penguins send a streaker in behind. And that puck, if you get it on the right angle on the flat, is going to bounce right back out in front of the net there, and it was proof of that there. So 1-0 Penguins here early on. Picked off Legier, trying to find leading scorer for the Pipers, Brandon Verge. So Goodwin goes to Spears, the primary assist. So Goodwin from Spears. Somewhere Thompson's in the mix there, I do believe. Is down the left side, poke free. Huge hit down there as towards the front. That was Rogers in on the forecheck. We got a man down and behind the net, and he is slow to get up, and it's Aiden Hickey And you don't want to see that ever. I don't care what league or which player. Hickey didn't even see Rogers coming on the backside. Now, if you're new to the program, we don't show the player laying on the ice out of respect to them. So Hickey played his U18 hockey for the Halifax Max and then moved on to the Pictou County Crushers of the MHL. So homegrown kid staying in Pictou County, sorry. That would be like calling Lance Elmsdale around these parts, so I get that. Hickey on his I guess I was going to call it four hands, but his knees and both hands as we'll quickly spin it around here to have a peek, but looks like he's going to be okay now as he'll get back up under his own power. Probably just the wind knocked out of him if I was a betting man. So he's going to head to the dressing room, it looks like, just to get a checkup. Hopefully everything's all good with him. So the faceoff's going to come out here in the neutral zone, directly across from us here on the booth. Poked free, Thompson off the draw, moves it across for Pike, through the middle of the ice for Scullion, who shifts it over to the left side for Wenzel. Back to the middle for Scullion. He's going to take a bump there from McLennan. He'll work it back to the point. Cross ice for Thompson. Thompson will fire that one off a set of shin pads, and that's going to go wide. Back the other way now. Brendan Duff. Tried to get it in deep. It was picked off as Thompson fires it up the right side. Pipers will hold it in. As McLennan gets in on the forecheck, he'll finish another check as the puck switches sides now. Wenzel, a little chip play for Scullion. Scullion looking for his options. This will partner it across for Thompson. That'll open up some space. Thompson, back pass for Pike coming up on the anchor. Through the neutral zone, over the red line and in deep. Hunter will get in on the forecheck as he battles there with Jason Oxner. Trying to center off a skate. There's McKenzie in the lane. Shot there, a weird deflection in front, and they score. Not sure who it hit in front, but it looks like John Mason, who's going to get his first goal of the season and his second point. And just like that, it's a 2-0 lead here for the Penguins. So good start here on home ice. Ryan Gillis yet to be tested here in this one. Now, of course, Alex Mader will doing the backing up here tonight. Former Lockview Dragon, if I'm not mistaken, is Gillis out to play the puck. Kept in at the blue line. Now quickly transition the other way was Burke looking for the loose puck. Nice little pull move. There's Brandon McKenzie now. Partners it. Across for McDonald. McDonald up the right side. That'll get outside the zone. Now Armstrong back to pick it up. So he'll take the return pass. Up the far side, off the stick of Spears, and that'll get inside the zone, so no icing on the play. Nolan McDonald reverses it back the other way. Finishing his check down there was Spears. That puck's going to get out into the neutral zone. Chipped off the wall by Schufelt. Turned it over, though. Jake Martin here. Shot there, the first test from Gillis. It's off the left collarbone as he makes the save. Look down inside the Penguin zone now. Down deep. Martin looking for a lane to the net. So get back in on the forecheck. Schufelt tried a quick little chip pass now with Spears. Back the other way, 2-on-1 forming with Burke. Spears keeps, shoots, save made. The rebound knocked down by the hand of Burke. He'll have to touch it. He won't, as Spears will pick it up. And a good opportunity there for the Penguins is stopped up, and we'll have a whistle here in the stoppage of play. So the faceoff's going to actually come outside here. We have a full sail change for both sides. Start this shift. It's going to be worked up the right side. Spears will take a hit to make a play. The puck will get in deep, no icing. Spears on the bounce. Front for Ralph. And now it's going to be picked up by Daly. He'll rim it in. Riley Spears on it. Centering, looking for Ralph. That one was chipped. And that one's going to go the length of the ice. And Garcin's going to give a quick chase here as Gillis fires it up the right side. Hit a weird spot on the bench and took a funny hop, but it's Ralph who collects. Poked off his stick. Back the other way. That was Cale McLaughlin in over the blue line, lines one up and fires from a distance, but it missed wide. Verge trying to peel it to himself there, but forgot to take the puck. So over the blue line go the Penguins. Pound takes the drop pass. He's going to try and cycle it down deep. Chip tie now. Verge back in transition. McLaughlin couldn't get him the puck. So now it's going to be chipped in. Verge will get in on the forecheck. Daly around for Spears. Spears spins away from Legier. Puck will come right under us. Cross corner dump now from Goodwin with a goal in the game already. Maher in there with his first touch. Centers, but the rest of his line mates hadn't quite finished up the change. Now is Verge. 12 goals already on the season. He's going to walk in, hits the trailer. McKenzie stops up. He'll duck under a hit there from Baker, and that one's going to get on the goaltender, Gillis, who will hang on. So the faceoff will come to the right side here. Another decent crowd here on hand at the East Tant Sportsplex. Not the biggest we've seen, of course. The fans seem to really take a liking here as Junior B team on a little bit of a heater as well. The Rangers are no slouches this year either, so East Tant's, knock on wood, in a decent spot right now as that one's going to go down for icing. So 12:36 left to go here in the first period. 50-50 jackpot, currently sitting at $365 in dollars, of course. I'll fire up a QR code here with the prices and all the information at the next stoppage of play. Get your chance to get in on that and help support the local team here. So it's going to be lofted in. It's going to go all the way down onto the goaltender, and that's going to be stopped. So here it is as promised. $415 as we brought it up. So go ahead, scan right there. It'll be drawn at the end of the second period or right before the third period ends. So 1 for 5, 3 for 10, 10 for 20, and 50 for 50. Gotta like that as we'll have a face-off here in the Piper zone. Hunter off the face-off. Rebound was loose there for Wenzel. Backhand try under the pad. Was loose there for a moment. And now it's going to be smothered up, who I do believe is Andrew McLeod. Maybe I was given improper information. This puck is down, back to the point. Shot coming from a distance and smothered up once again. And this time he'll hang on. So we'll go right back where we started here on the draw. One of the best seats in the house up here. Dangerous spot, but got to be aware of your surroundings up here at all times. Shot towards there. Nobody saw it, including the goaltender. That was Fudge. Tried to loft that one up. Thompson, he braces for the hit as Evan McLennan got in on him. Weird hop into the crease. Penguins able to find it for a moment now. Picked up. So Alexis Jacques, the new pickup. Nice pass across to the far side. Now down the right side. Spin around into the middle. And now that's going to be lofted out through the neutral zone. Picked up there by Hickey, who looks to be okay, so he'll get it in deep. Gillis out to play it. Stops it there for Thompson. Thompson being flushed out the right side through the middle of the ice looking for Schufelt. Penguins had to be careful at the bench. Good job by Spears. He's been in that situation a few times, I'm sure, with the games played on his resume. Sometimes it's tough, though, not to touch that puck. It's right there in your wheelhouse. So good instincts there on the far side. Now as Burke picks up. He'll work in over the zone. Burke through the middle for Spears. Spears drag, shoots, rebound loose in front of the net there, and they score. Schufelt's 13th of the season. And just like that, it's 3-0, and point number 25 for the former Halifax Moosehead, Andrew Schufelt. So it looks like we're going to have a 30-second timeout here. Piper's going to slow things down here, so we'll be back here after the short break. All right, looks like we are back here. Old 6'7" makes another appearance here, so see if the Pipers are able to change up the juju here. So we're going to have to wait for the young pups to get off the ice, doing the snow. No rush. They're doing a good job. Nice job by the senior Penguins here. Keeping the young players involved as well. At the end of the day, this is one of their community teams, and if I know anything about East Hants, the young kids come to the games every chance they get. There we go. Looks like we got her figured out now. Ref's having a good giggle. Former High Button Sports intern Justin Blanchard on the stripes tonight. Schufelt. Shimmy shaking his way through the neutral zone as he gets in over the line. Spears to the trailer Daly. Jam play at the side of the goal. That was Burke. It's going to be reversed around the far side. Jake Martin, captain here for the Pipers, got the puck out as far as the Penguins' defensive zone. Now it's going to be picked up by Burke just over the line. He moves over to the left side for Schufelt. Schufelt, great feed to the right side to the trailer. In front, deflected, and the net's going to come off the pegs. I don't think anyone noticed except for me. Schufelt, little leave pass there. Back down low for Spears. Spears back up top, Schufelt. Schufelt across for Daly. Daly to the back post. Oh, what a pass there. I don't even know what to call that one. Tic-tac-toe. But just a great job of moving that biscuit around the zone. Catching the Pipers stationary there. And once you beat the first two defenders, create yourself an odd man rush in front, and they make no mistake once again. And it looked like it might be Schufelt in front on the deflection. So my former roommate, Brandon Verge, will step in to take the draw here against Cedric Ralph. Verge and I actually grew up playing against each other, as well as the goaltender Spencer Scott. So Verge played for the South Shore Mustangs, and Spencer Scott for the Cole Harbour McCains they were back then, who actually beat us in the league final. So tell me how I remember his name. And we do have a goalie switch, it looks like. Looks like number 1, Andrew McLeod's going to be in. That seems right. So Pictou County through and through. Play for the Scottsburton Dairies U15s. Weeks Majors. Pictou County Crushers, and now, of course, the Pipers now is back transition the other way is Verge. He can still boogie. Get to the trailer, Legier. Legier walks into the backhand. Billy Gillis a save. He takes a bump there, and it's going to take a little while to get Gillis in his kitchen there. As a pass for Ralph. Ralph to the trailer, coming in late there, and welcome to the game. Turnaround, 2-point blank for McLeod. Nothing like getting introduced to your action here with a couple of point blankers. Turnaround pass, Spears. Shot there, that was blocked. Penguins maintain possession. Work to the middle of the ice, shot towards a goal, that was deflected wide. Armstrong picks up the rebound. He'll fire a bank pass. Cross ice, Ralph. Turn around, he'll loft one across. Armstrong towards the front of the goal. Drop back for Ralph. Ralph on the right side, nice little move. Piper's hemmed in here. Back to the point, Armstrong. In behind the goal. Pinned up against the wall there from Roddick. Good job there to see numbers and ease off and hit for containment. I hope I said that right. If I did, good for me. So the faceoff's going to stay inside the Penguin zone here, or sorry, the Piper zone. So it looks like it's going to be Garcin, who is the only one not numbered on my sheet here, so not the greatest at math, but that seems to add up to me. So he will come away with the draw. Back up to the point. Looked like number 29, Simon Prosper, was looking for a high stick there. He's yelling at the linesman, but I don't know if the linesman can make the call. It's a centering pass here as the Penguins will get the zone. Rogers playing up front this game. Armstrong holds the line. Knocked down by Hickey. Hickey looking for that loose puck, reaching for it, couldn't get it. Baker went for the hit, and he got stood up. Back for Thompson. Thompson spins away from Prosper. Partner pass for Pike. Pike back for Thompson. Thompson will work up the left side now with some space. So good at creating space for himself there. Just a quick Shift to the feet, and away he was in open ice. Down low for Marr. Marr in the middle of the ice for Baker. Comes back for Will Thompson. Poked ahead. Taken here by Cale McLaughlin. He moved it over to the left side. Now it's going to be worked down on the far right side here, inside the Piper zone. Picked up by Jacques. He'll move it up the left side for Prosper. Prosper into the middle for Verge. Verge fired a shot there. Pound got a stick on it. So the rebound comes free in behind the net. Tangled up with Pound was Verge. Now Spears hitting the getaway sticks here as he works down the left side. He's tripped up, and our first Penn Hills power play on the way unless they can score here. Another one down low now. Schufelt lost possession. Legier, good diving play as now it's going to be whistled here. Well, it looks like it's going to be number 3, Oxner. 2 minutes for tripping. So we'll head to your Penn Hills power play here. Thank them for their continued support, and the Penguins score a power play goal here. And one lucky season ticket holder will go home with a couple green fees, and let me tell you, I worked there in the summer and golf there. It's a hell of a spot, and I'm sure anybody who's a season ticket holder here for the most part has probably been there as well. So the power play starts here. Thompson fires a one-timer here from the top half of the circle, and it's going to be smothered up by McLeod. So we'll head right back to where we started here. Verge and Burke on the draw. Two guys I know pretty well. That's the fun part about doing these games. So McLeod with the fresh gear there. Hard to tell though. Black puck, black pads. Nearly held in. Thompson will have to get there first, but it's Legier now. Legier, the second leading scorer for the Pipers, just whistles that one wide. Verge turns, fires it towards the Penguin zone. The Penn Hills power play continues here. Thompson stops up. Good press there from Legier. Now it's going to be worked into Schufelt. Schufelt got to watch quick. He'll fly by now as he works underneath the goal line. Worked all the way around. Fires it back to the point. We're going to go far side for Burke. Burke looking for a stick in front. Cross crease pass off the stick. Turn around with some time. Going to come to the blue line. Burke, good second effort. He holds the line all the way across now. Ralph for Burke. Burke slows up at the half wall. They'll work up top. Thompson partners it across. Schufelt on the left side. Back for Burke here. Burke. Thompson, one-timer. Shot there. Good track by McLeod. And now Thompson got a stick on it, showing off the old hand-eye coordination. But he couldn't quite keep it in here. So 5:50 left to go. And another 39 seconds left to go in the Penn Hills power play here. Over to the right side, Scullion picks it up on the clean pass. Inside the zone, stops up. He's being forced. Burke fires it down low. Hickey got a stick on it, but it will find Hunter now. Scullion. Double team down there. Hunter in to help out as they look for that loose puck. 20 seconds left to go now. And that one's going to be sent the length. That's going to go all the way down on the goaltender Gillis. He'll leave it there for Spears, who will just loop around. He'll look for the stretch pass as they go up to the far blue. Hunter. Nice release pass back to Spears. Real good look. Spears drags, cuts to the middle. And that's going to do it for the power play. So no free green fees on this one, as now Oxner out of the penalty box all alone. Gillis went for the poke check there, and the rebound came free. And now back go the Penguins the other way. Hunter got around the first man. In over the blue line he goes. Drags, shoots. That's into the shin pads there of McDonald. So it'll go back down low. Ty Hunter spins off on McDonald, able to get a stick on him. Scullion in to help out. McDonald comes away with that puck. Moved up the right side now. That's Ted McGean. Pipers, nice little move on the outside. Down deep towards the front of the goal. Still loose at the high slot there. Gillis got a piece of it. Couldn't find it, but defense did a good job to clear as the puck will switch sides. All the way around for Jacques. Look at the footwork there as he works at the blue line. Backhands one towards the goal, and Gillis will come out with his ball experience and smother that one up. But the fancy footwork there from newly signed Alexis Jacques, former Edmundston Blizzard. Very quick. Very good confidence there. It takes a lot of kahunas, we'll say, to dance across the line like that at the offensive blue line. Not only are you positioned to not defend, but if that puck gets poked off your stick, well, she's probably an odd man rush the other way, but I guess I'm talking about it for no reason because it didn't happen. Armstrong around quickly. Baker had to knock it down. Jacques, nice pull move. Mohawk turn, opens up once again. Now he's going to fire it in deep. Showing off the skill set there. Legier back for Jacques. Jacques fake to the middle, cut back to the left side. Now he'll spin around. Rogers. Bouncing puck out front. And lofted back the other way is Rogers. The only man away for the Penguins. Rogers holds a goal and 5 assists so far on the season for Rogers. A little bit of a hybrid. He's played forward and defense so far this year for the Penguins. So 3:36 left to go here in the first period. Shots on goal 20-5 through 16 minutes and 24 seconds according to my math. Probably way off, but if I got it right, I have been practicing. Puck is down now. Penguins in on the forecheck here off the ensuing faceoff. Through the middle, Schufelt, cut back move. Couldn't get it to go. On the far side for Fudge, who might be the only guy in the league rocking graph skates right now. Hey, listen, if they work and they are still good, that's why you buy them, for quality. Great pick up there for Burke. 2-on-1 with Schufelt. Slid it to him and off his stick and into the corner now. Burke looking for that loose puck. He'll pull it into the middle. With it, tries to slide it for Schufelt once again as they whack away at it at the side of the goal here, and it's going to be smothered up by McLeod and nothing doing in front of the goal. 4-0 lead here for the Penguins through the first 17 minutes. So the Guardian Pharmacy first intermission fastly approaching here is right off the face-off. That fast. On the ice, on the stick, and back at the goaltender. And we're going to start over here once again. Pipers will get a change here. 50-50. 4:15, another same play off the draw here. Jammed up down there in the corner was Thompson. Burke brings it around for Spears. Spears moves it up top. Back towards the goal. Whacked at in front. McLeod stays strong, and Burke takes a little bit of a cross check in front of the net. Not a malicious player at all. It's the reason he's worn the C and or a letter pretty well every level he's played at. So, see my Roxy's up there, stepping up their game as always every year. So the left side of McLeod here. Puck is down, but it's taken cleanly here by the Pipers. Up the left side now. Martin, cross ice. Chipped inside the zone there off the stick of McKenzie. He'll get in on the forecheck. Gillis got his stick jammed up in the old boards, so he'll have some time to go get it. Work cross ice. Through the middle of the ice now. Going for the hit was Pike, just missed, but a good tip. We'll get rid of the icing now as Gillis out to play the puck. Rims it around to the far side. Spears takes a check. Centering towards Martin. Couldn't get it to go. Jacques. Look at that footwork as he's going to drag to the front of the goal. Wraparound chance there. Stuffed aside by Gillis as he hugs the post. Back to the point. Verge joins the party. Fake shot now in front. Tipped wide. And back the Penguins go in transition. Chipped into the neutral zone. Hickey fires that off the wall. Thompson picks it up on the bounce. And over the blue line he goes. To the right side. Spears there. Good stick from Jacques. So he read that pass all the way. Hickey chips it around. Too far to reach. So it gets pushed back down into the corner. 80 seconds to go now. Worked in deep far side. Thompson, he takes a hit from Legier. The old hit when they're up against the boards never goes well for the checker. As Daly holds the line. Good win. Good stick check in behind the goal. Looking for a centering pass, but Hickey just using his muscle down there. So he's going to loft one. See if I can grab it for you up there. Good loft pass for Verge. Almost off to the races. One less beer. Would have got him there maybe. It's all in good fun, obviously. Now it's a good one down the left side. Shot there. McLeod, the save. Rebound comes loose. dangerously into the middle. Scullion drags from the bench. Couldn't get it to go. Now a stretch pass back the other way. And over the line, McGeen stops up. Shot there, and Gillis with the glove save. Now he's going to fire it the other way. Hunter picks it up. And just as he was about to cross the blue line, the puck kind of squirted back in the snow as Gillis was looking for an apple there. So the faceoff's going to come just underneath us here. 28.6 seconds left to go. Don't come this way. There we go. We've already had one of our commentators get hit last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Part of the gig, though. Hunter got a stick on it. Scullion coming through. Heads up. Fudge runs into his own man as he pushes that through the middle of the ice. The Pipers go back for it, but it's Gillis who slows down the forecheck. Getting in there now is Wenzel. Reverses it back the other way, but he's the left winger, so nobody there. And now that one's going to hit the boards in front of us, and that's going to do it here for the first 20 minutes. A 4-goal period for the East Hants Penguins. Final shots on goal after 1 period of play, 24-7 in favor of East Hants. We're going to head to the Guardian Pharmacy. First intermission here, and we'll be back. Second period action not long from now. You're watching the Nova Scotia Senior Hockey League here on High Button Sports. Hang tight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Second period action here from the East Hants Sportsplex, and we're going to mix it up for you here in the second period. I'm now going to be joined by my color commentator, Mr. Logan Carruthers. Logan, you finally made the trip. How's it feel to be in the igloo?
Good. It's been it was a long day. I started down in South Shore, down in Liverpool, but made the drive, and we're here, and things seem to be rolling for the Penguins here. Missed the first, but things seem to be rolling so far.
They didn't give you any grief at the door coming in?
No, they were fine.
They're good folk around here. So we'll get back to gameplay here. 4-0 lead for the Penguins. 4 different goal scorers as the Pipers are going to head north here. Left side for Legier. Works in. Nice little drag in all alone to the forehand. Oh, what a save, Gillis. Oh, my. Nate Legier looking to start the Pipers off as he went right down the pipe here with a little T-drag. And Brian Gillis up to the task. There's a little bit of action for you to start.
Yeah, that was a nasty move. You just caught the defense there reaching, and what a way to start the second. And Brian Gillis doing a great job. Once again, holding the door, obviously, here in the second.
You got to weather the storm early on here, especially with a 4-goal lead. Sometimes you can get complacent. We'll see if the Penguins continue on here, as that one's going to be lofted down the ice. It's going to go off a stick, and it looks like it will be icing. So, folks, listen, I made a mistake. I went down and checked. I'm a man of my word with a little bit of accountability up here, and I do believe it's Spencer Scott down there. You think I would know him. I seen him in my nightmares still from the U18 days of him beating us. So it was McLeod that started, and now it's Scott according to the game sheet. So that's what we're going to go with for now. So I apologize once again, but I gave you my best effort, and sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles here. Is Pipers are going to take the face-off here now. Verge, the old lumberjack hack there, couldn't get the puck to come. Spears had it poked off his stick. Now Daly jumping up, couldn't get it to go. Nice pass out of the right side. Jacques into the middle for Verge. Verge to the backhand. Gillis saw it the whole way and just didn't have enough space as he ran out of real estate and couldn't get it up top. Smart goalies, Logan, will recognize nobody at the back door. Okay, here's my shooter. He's on his backhand. If I just take away this space over here, there's no way he's going to go up top.
Yeah, exactly. Cut down the angle, get out as far as the crease as you can, and cut down. There's virtually no net to shoot at once he does.
So right off the face-off, they're going to whack her, and you know that's also trusting your defenseman. I know you were a defenseman, or we use that term loosely here for this, but knowing that your defenseman's going to take the open man, so you can commit to the shooter. It's the opposite of a 2-on-1 for the most part. Sometimes you do switch, but we won't get into the nitty-gritty of that stuff now. As Spears just added both his names together, dump it in. Scott out to play it. We hope. Spears now intercepts on the clearing attempt. Down low, Schufelt now looking for his options. Hangs on, he'll rip it back up top. Thompson fakes it to the left side, and that's just going to be lofted back down by Pike. And in behind the goal it goes. Now up in the corner, Pike. Back pass, Fudge, good second effort there. As he was able to get that puck outside the zone, now is Schufelt. Partnered it across. Spears pleading his case to Liney there. Liney believes him this time, so no icing. Told both Blanchard brothers rocking the stripes here today. A little family affairs. Thompson will take that bank pass across for Pike. Pike off the skate of Spears. He has enough time to collect though. Good job by Martin. So he controlled traffic there. Now is Pike. Picked up for the Penguins through the middle. Burke reaching for it. Poked it free. Martin on the backhand takes a bump right under us as that puck will go down onto Brian Gillis, who whiffs on it. And Thompson, cool as ever, just clear in front of the net there with no goaltender in the net. Pike looks behind him, works up to the red line. He's going to fire that one in deep. Scott behind as he leaves it there for his defender. Looking for the stretch pass. Armstrong knocked that down. Went for the hit over there and took his stick with him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the physicality picks up here a little bit in the second, trailing by 4. The Pipers got to have a push here at some point.
Yeah, I think if maybe a few more goals get put on the board before the Pipers can score, he might look for that. I know Roddick and Baker dropped the mitts last night at the Wellness Center, so, fighting is, obviously we like it, you like it, but, it's strategic as well. Sometimes you don't just fight the most part to fight. Sometimes the emotions get the best of you, but there's a little bit of strategy involved too.
Yeah, you're on the road, trailing by 4. You want to get some kind of spark under your team, and that's a way to do it.
At the same time, though, with a fan base like East Hants who have been just itching for a tilt here, that kind of gives them a little bit more juice in the crowd here. Is right now pretty silent with a 4-goal lead. Is that chance there off the stick of Mason from the point, who already has a goal in this game, I believe, unless they gave it to Hunter eventually. But, yeah, I mean, sometimes you can get into a fight and you give the home crowd the juice there, and I don't think they can afford that just at this point. So I'd be anxious to see what maybe the message from the coach was. At the end of the day, these guys are adults.
Yeah, and maybe even try to bait the Penguins into something too, just to try to get something going here. Maybe a power play or something for them.
See, now you're talking my language. Anyone listening who knows me as a player knows that that's something I'm definitely into, is the Penguins collect inside their own zone. Baker, nice pass. That one just gets around everybody. Rogers in on the race, and that will eventually be icing. I'm not entirely sure what the icing rule is. I know it's at the referee's discretion, but I'm not sure if it's a race to the top of the circle or the hash marks or whatever the case may be, but that one definitely an icing charged to the Penguins here, so they won't be able to change.
What you're saying, dude, is Pictou could use you out there right now.
I think they look for people that can cross over both ways. Unfortunately, that's not me. You're always a little bit better in your own head, I know that, though. Marr, nice move. The former East Hants Junior B Penguin standout, being mauled there by Garcin. So physicality, I know you weren't here for the first, already has picked up a little bit here. Rightfully so. That's got to be a little bit of the message in the dressing room for the Pipers. Let's get on these guys. That shot whistled through. Take away their time and space. Maybe try and bully them a little bit. Now is Pound, tries to pound one on net. Didn't quite get it there, as it's going to be cycled down low. Marr, good footwork in behind the goal. Looking for the wraparound. Into the middle, shot, they score.
What a pass.
Not sure who got the final touch in front, but we'll have to wait and see who leads the flyby. But I think it was Connor Rogers. And if I'm not mistaken, and it was him, that'll be his second goal of the season. The D-man, the chameleon, I guess, if you will, being able to play up and down the lineup. He actually played on my beer league team a couple years ago and has now since joined the Penguins and hasn't looked out of place one bit. A lot of these guys now, about the halfway mark of the season, should be pretty climatized to the speed of things. Oh, Camden McKenzie, good buddy of mine. Also a real good ball player. Getting the call up here for the Pipers. Nice to see some young guns in the lineup. I think you'll see Logan in a year or two, as this league kind of settles itself in and gets accustomed to every community and teams get used to it and they trust the process. You'll see a lot more of those Pictou County Junior A players that maybe don't move on to the next level or aren't looking to start to filter into this Pipers team.
Well, yeah, and obviously the first year in the league, you're going to have some older guys that might be more connected with some of the owners and stuff like that. But once you get into the younger guys starting to, move on from Junior A, and I know me, myself included, there's not really a place to play after university for some players at a high level, and this is a great opportunity for guys who want to play at a high level and still compete day to day on weekends.
It's Thompson now gingerly works his way in and behind the goal. Always fun to watch him carry the puck up to the point. Didn't have enough time to get it through the net, so it gets in deep. That'll evade Hunter. Now is McKenzie through the middle. There he had Verge. And Verge is going to turn the afterburners on. Good speed there from my old roomie. He'll negate the icing. To the trailer. Legier back in. Kind of stutter-stepped and rolled himself into the wall, but the puck skins through. McDonald, nice shot there. And that was Nolan McDonald absolutely ripping one as he activated from the point. But Gillis, once again, out at the top of the crease.
I actually played with Nolan McDonald up at school the last couple of years. He had a kind of a bad injury. He broke his femur and dislocated his knee pretty badly there in his first season up at university. But really glad to see him out there and back on the ice playing after a tough injury.
Yeah, that might be one of the tougher injuries to bounce back from. Now, obviously, guys like Stammer and stuff with the best care you can get in the NHL are going to come back faster. But 1 sec here, Schufeld's down the left side. Can't even blink with him. Spears out front there as Scott got the blocker on it this time.
Another thing I noticed, Nolan's actually playing on the back end. He's normally a forward. He played forward growing up and even up at school. So good to see him switching roles there and being versatile.
Yeah, another chameleon out there this time for the Pipers, though. At this point, these guys are, earliest or youngest 20 and up into the mid-30s for the most point. And, these guys have enough experience that you can kind of slot yourself back and play different positions, or have already. I know I've played a couple positions, not either one of them great, but now the Pipers are going to go back the other way as Fudge down the right side. He's just going to keep, he'll shoot. And another guy that made the jump from the beer league ranks, This is one of the cooler parts for me too, is seeing the guys. You know, Sunday nights you play the old 10 p.m. slot, and then you see these guys out here. Listen, they got more courage than I do, coming out here and giving it a shot. You know, full-time jobs, maybe in school, kids, stuff like that. So you got to hand it to them. I don't care where you came from or what league you started, and to jump into a senior league like this is good on them.
Yeah, and all these guys got to go to, well, most of them got to go to work on Monday morning. So good on them, putting a good weekend's worth of hockey in and having to go back to work still on Monday.
Now, for those of you watching here and just thought that might have been offside, the Penguins brought it back in after the exit, so that'll immediately get rid of the offside. So the Pipers were good, and good heads up by their forward there. And I learned that lesson the hard way as an official. Maybe just didn't read the rule book well enough, but since then learned the rules, so no problems now as the Penguins will work in on the forecheck. Jacques, look at that, opens himself up like that. He finds some space that you don't even see.
And that's a skill that it's hard to master, to gain speed on your edges like that. You saw Mara with the Penguins do it behind the net to set up the goal, and a good job there by the defenseman and creating space for himself.
Spears in over the line, drags, carries it in off the side of the goal, didn't quite get her up. It's McKenzie, always been a fan of his game, plays at a high speed. Now is Daly back. Daly holds, pound, let that go, smartly out into the neutral zone. That's going to be picked up there by McKenzie. McKenzie, nice cut move, goes far side. Martin, great job to pick that up on the backhand as he dumps it in deep. Gillis leaves it there for Pound. Stops up. Pipers will get into the 1-2-2 here. Old New Jersey's 2000 trap up the left side for Baker. Baker, he's just going to try and carry it to the line, and he's not going to quite get there in time, says the back official, but the front official waves it off. His authority, his call. Play continues. Cross-ice pass, perfectly placed. Legier doesn't break a stride. Drop for Verge. Verge walks in. Rogers back in a hurry and had that poked off the stick. Connor Rogers back the other way. He'll move it up the left side. Baker for Rogers off his stick, rolling to front of the goal, and Scott will hang on. So 5-0 lead here. 11:27 left to go. Spencer Scott, I do believe, from Oakville, Ontario, if I'm not mistaken, but played for the now, I guess, Martin Milko Hunters. They were the Cole Harbour McCains, and then came up through the MHL with the Truro Bearcats. And now playing for the Pipers, obviously, as you can see. Now as that rebound bounces back out front. To the right side for Burke, and Scott's been busy here. 30-11 now the shots. Usually right around a game's worth, between 30-35 shots, but Penguins moving that puck around the offensive zone and playing like a first-place team right now, if you're asking me.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job at just finding guys coming in and activating guys from the point, obviously, on that last goal with the Rogers stepping in there. But they're doing a good job at finding those little holes in the Picto's defense, as you see one right there.
Shot there through a crowd, and that's going to be Pike. Nobody saw it, and I don't think Scott's still seeing it, as Pike will pick up his second goal of the season and his fourth point, and that will make it 6-0 Penguins here.
I don't think Burke's going to get an assist on that, but he took the eyes away, and that goaltender had no chance. So no assist on the score sheet, but team morale and in the room, that's an apple for sure.
Yeah, those are little things that, it seems like a simple play, but, to get there and get to the net front. And the only way Scott's going to see that puck is if I think he comes and watches the stream after. That had eyes. There's nothing he could do. There was tons of bodies in front. It's not on him. That's not what I'm saying. But just a perfectly placed shot there from Pike with bodies in front and caught him going against the grain.
Yeah, Pike had his head up and just saw that there was traffic, so he's like, I'll take the chance, and ripped it upstairs.
When was the last time you shot a puck on net? And speaking of which, right off the face-off, Wenzel's going to sneak one through, and it's now 7-0.
Yeah, that was a very quick hitter on the draw.
Yeah, it was so fast, I just looked down to see who was taking the face-off at my sheet here, and all of a sudden it found the back of the net. So 7 goals on 32 shots here, and we're not even halfway through the game yet.
And now we'll have to see if the physicality will really pick up.
So now remember, if you do fight, you're done for the game, which some guys be happy to see that at some point.
Yeah, some guys might opt in for that.
I know every now and then, and probably shouldn't admit this, but every now and then we get up by a few, and I would just say something that could send me to the showers a little early.
Yeah, go hang out in the stands, maybe grab a bite from the canteen or something, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Well,
Been there
Wenzel
and done that.
takes the middle pass now as Hunter, youngest player on the team here for the Penguins. And Hunter and his brother Brady actually run a athletics training business right out of their garage there in Enfield, and they train a lot of the local players and seeing some pretty good results so far. So shout out to those boys, staying local, keeping it in the community, and Hunter just finished his junior A career and immediately played for his hometown team. So good to see that as the Pipers get in over the line. Centering pass off the stick in front, and that was Jake Martin getting a stick on that, but Gillis up to the task here on his 12th shot. So now John Mason walks in down the left side. Cam McKenzie, good job down there. So he pushes his man off the puck, and sometimes you don't need the big hit, you just need to hit to contain. He took away the time and space and took away the real estate as well, and that's a good defensive play in my book. Chipped free now, McKenzie. Stick lift. Couldn't get it to go. That was one of those scenarios, Logan, where he goes to stick lift, you go to stick lift, and you both miss it, and the puck ends up right back where it started. So now it'll end up down inside the Pipers zone. Turned over in front, those Spears. Spin around there. And now back the other way is Verge. He's going to try and lay down right down the middle. Seam pass. Oh, and a nice stick there in front. Verge was wide open on the back door, looking for his 13th goal of the season. And now it's going to be turned over as McDonald, your former teammate, down the right side. Opportunity, centering pass off the foot there, and a save made from Gillis. Flashing the leather. He's got 4 boys in the stands that are going to enjoy that save.
Yeah, we'll have to come back and clip that video there on YouTube afterwards.
So we're going to head to our first TV timeout here of the second period. So we'll have a quick look at the team matchups and how they rank, and we're going to step aside here for about 30 seconds time. All right, TV timeout concluded, and we are back here. 7-0 lead for the Penguins. That puck will get outside the zone. Now circled back in their own zone. Pound up the left side. Marr couldn't get it deep. Legier looking for Verge, but he was on the opposite side. Now this is going to be chipped free. McDonald, the former forward. Back to his partner. Now McDonald takes the return pass. Dangerously in front of his own net. Marr jumping into the play. Baker finds that loose puck on the left side. Over to the right side. Shot coming, tipped in front. That goes wide. And now through the middle it goes. Verge looking down at the skates there. Thought there might be something on it. Now is a good pass over to the right side. In over the line. Baker, tie Verge up. Worked around. McGean back to the point. Jacques couldn't get all of it on the side of the goal. They score. And they finally break Gillis as Nate Legier, his 5th goal of the season. And the Pipers are on the board here.
Well, there's a little spark for them. Try to get something going here in the second period. I know they trail by a few, but something is better than nothing.
Well, I mean, you got to score to win. That's the famous saying. And they're down by 6, but Logan, there's tons of hockey left here. And I don't know if anyone here has ever watched the Leafs before, but they've blown 6-goal leads before, so it is possible. And like I said, This is the fourth place Pipers team. They're winless so far, but don't sleep on them. This would be the furthest out of a game so far I've seen out of them. And we are a long way from the conclusion here. So now we're going to have a 2-on-0. Back the other way is Hunter in all alone. Jacques got a stick on him, and that'll slow things down enough that Hunter couldn't get a shot off. And good job there on the trigger finger from Thompson as that goaltender was down. The net was off, and he was just about to fire one. And he holds off. And that's where you shoot that puck, and all of a sudden you got a skirmish in front of the net, especially up 6. Sometimes it is hard, though, Logan. You're about 99% of the way through your follow-through, and the whistle goes, and you shoot, and you're trying to plead your case, but it just never happens.
Yeah, no, people don't listen if you're trying to plead your case, but you still, even if it was at the whistle or, on the whistle, some players just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's a quick invite to one to the chops, but that's what you're into. That's what you're into. It's a bouncing puck. Had to be careful. Gillis's shortstop skills coming in hand there as he just got that one. Maybe it would have been an error in ball, but it's a good save in hockey. Worked around now. McKenzie getting all kinds of ice here. He's played well. Stopped up, cycled down low, batted at there by McCumber. Now in behind the net for Thompson. Wheeled around, held in at the line. McCumber, good job in the F3 position. Now in front all alone. McKenzie sneaking in. He got a shot off. Good save, Gillis. That's part of McKenzie's game. He's not your stay-at-home defenseman. He's going to jump up when necessary, and he's going to get back here now. He's going to have to hurry. It's Wenzel slotting in at the side of the right post. Hunter walks around, turns, fires, and that one goes off Scott and in the back of the net. And Ty Hunter is going to join the scoring parade here as he'll get his 5th of the season. And now it's 8-1, so immediately erasing that one goal from the Pipers. That's the name of the game. Find one or give one up and get it right back.
Yeah, and I know his dad, Tommy, and Brady played with him in the U15 and U16 Nova Scotia teams. And, Brady has had a good career. He's still playing. And Tommy, the longtime coach from East Hants, was fortunate to actually have him for a tournament in Toronto. And every time I see Tommy around the rink, he always says hi and how's it going. So good to see them still sticking around the community, and I didn't know about that gym out of their house. That's impressive.
Yeah, they do a lot of the local, just local players here, a lot of Rangers players, the Kings, high school. I mean, you get the idea now, but very involved. I had the opportunity to actually meet Tommy a couple of years ago, and he's still heavily involved. He runs some power skating, and could he attest that you were at the tournament in Toronto, or is that something he can back up?
Yeah, so can my other roommate, Mason Beck. And you know what's funny? Nolan McDonald was at that tournament too with us.
So there you go. That's one of the fun parts about doing these games. I said to the fans here, is a lot of the names you recognize, or sometimes you don't realize they're playing. All of a sudden you see the guy and you're going, okay, there we go. I played with that guy or played against him. So always fun here for senior hockey, and I hope this continues to be a strong league, but it looks like it's going to be the case, knock on wood.
Yeah, no, the teams seem to be really enjoying it. Anyone I've talked to about the league has said the same thing. The hockey's good. It's been fun to come and watch, and they've done it really well. They've done it right. So it's good sign here for the future to come here for senior hockey in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, just little things, too, like having the youngsters come out and clean the snow at the TV timeouts.
Exactly.
The crew here in East Hants, I can only speak for this arena. This is the only one I've been to. They got the crew out in the yellow jackets out there, the penguin coats. They're very involved. They have the MC up in the crowd. They got the announcer. Everything you can think of they've done so far here. So shout out to them, and hopefully this is just a long-lasting partnership here with the community as we get back to gameplay. Heads up there as Burke had numbers, eased off, and that's what you're supposed to do. No stop signs on these jerseys. As Spears down the left side couldn't hold his own. Burke took a hack there. So now Schufelt, cross ice. Little saucer pass on the flank. Poked off the stick. Now back the other way is Fudge. Fudge down the left wing through the neutral zone. Cross corner dump. He's played here a few times, and I thought McDonald was going to head in for that one. He wasn't so sure about it as he eased off. I thought he might have got there first.
There's some physicality.
Yeah, that's Pound taking a hit down there, and now that one's just going to be lofted. That won't be enough for icing, though, as Pound collects inside his own zone, backhanded. Up the left side. Spears, beautiful drop pass there. Was wondering what he was going to do. As Goodwin down the left side. Tried to slot one up short side. And Scott got just enough of that. Now Pound. Good read on the bounce. Skate to stick. Spins around. Legier Perfect angle job. Virgin to help out as well. Back the other way, poked off the stick. Penguins looking to go in transition here. Ralph. As Goodwin got lucky there, that was close. Down the right side for Spears as he joined the party late. Had that poked off his stick, out into the neutral zone, Pound. As the Penguins re-rack here in the neutral zone. Just over 4 minutes to go.
Spears is one of those guys that I always hated playing against. He was fast, he could score, and if you were in his train tracks, he'd just skate right over you or right through you.
Yeah, he's been quite the addition here. He joined 3 or 4 games ago, I want to say, and jumped right into the mix here, and it's the one guy out there in the red gloves I'm able to keep track of. But, yeah, he's a big boy, and he plays with it too, but sometimes you don't expect the big guys to be as smooth as that, and he's really been a great addition here to this Penguins team.
Yeah, like he can wheel, and when you talk about some guys, you know, that you say they skate right through their checks, he's one of those guys that his feet don't stop before he hits you. He just keeps on skating until he's over top of you. And, yeah, he's always been tough to play against.
So played his Junior A with the South Shore Lumberjacks and the Valley Wildcats, and also played Dartmouth U18, so no slouch of a career by any means, and you can see why he was able to play at the junior level pretty heavily.
Well, yeah, and his brother Alex Carr, who's playing in New Hampshire, I believe, he played with my brother up in Rouen. He was a big part of, he played all 4 years or 5 years in the Quebec League. So a good hockey family.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I feel like now more than ever, the local guys from around here, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, whatever, Newfoundland, are getting a lot more looks than they ever have, or at least when we played, or maybe I just sucked and that was the way it went. But just feels like, the quality of hockey's there, and the players are getting the opportunities here. So nice to see that as back-to-back shots off the face-off here. We'll keep the face-off down inside the Piper zone. And I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan of the Piper's logo.
Yeah, it's a nice little logo, and I got to go up and watch them play. They played against Truro up in Pictou. I had a game before and got to go watch that, and that was one of the things I noticed was they do have some sharp-looking jerseys.
Honestly, every team in this league has done it right. Real good kits. Part of the draw is you want to look there, the hip check, and he just missed as Fudge burned down the outside. Fudge in all alone, and a good save made from Gillis as Pike said hip check or nothing there, and with a 7-goal lead, you can kind of take those risks, but real good speed there from Connor Fudge. Still got some mustard in those graphs down there. And if they work, use them, as he's going to get the pass here. Now through the middle, Thompson. Softly, that's a real smart play there from Thompson. His IQ showing there now as Rogers drags to the front of the net there. The shove play at the side of the goal was kicked aside by Scott. Continues to be busy here in this one, but Rogers may not look like the fastest player, but he'll burn you every now and then. He runs into Fudge there. Now back the other way, the Pipers. Jacques looking for the back door. What a play there. As Mason down to all fours, and Jacques there trolling that blue line like a pro, man. Look at that.
Look at those edges. That's hard to do. So that's a good sign there for a young player.
I actually mentioned this before you got here, Logan. The confidence it takes to do that. I know it's a 7-goal lead, but you still want to be in good habits. The confidence it takes to run that line like that, knowing that if that gets poked off your stick, it's an odd man rush the other way, guaranteed.
Yeah, I'd be dumping it in deep.
Yeah,
that's how I always played. I didn't have that confidence to control that line. I'd be looking for the lane. If I didn't have one, I'd be just putting it in deep. So good on the young man.
Yeah, well, when you wear size 14 skates, one of those Mohawk turns will send you to the ice probably. But, hey, you know what? There's something to be said about keeping it simple as a defenseman. They do say if you don't notice a defenseman, he probably had a good game. So you need the simple defenseman. I find now more than ever we have the offensive defenseman, which is fine. But you still need some defenders to defend out there. And there's definitely a spot on every team for some of those as the puck gets pushed in deep. Hunter in behind the goal. Certified Athletics is what it's called now that it's hit me. So it goes across. Tipped in front there. Scott made the save. Rebound is loose.
Oh, the Hunters Gym Certified
Yes, sorry,
Athletic?
I know
okay.
that was random. I
Random,
apologize.
very random. Yeah, okay, it's all
Hunter
good.
gets the return pass, trying to go back door. He does. Oh, and Scullion couldn't pull the trigger. Rolled off the stick. Over to the right side now is Daly. Daly didn't have a lane. Fires it into the middle. 90 seconds to go here in the second period. Scullion, former Brookfield Elks standout too. Oldest guy on the team, if I'm not mistaken, but definitely doesn't show it as he battles down there. Verge took a high twig on the forecheck. You stand in the battlegrounds every now and then. That's going to happen. Hunter works out of the corner. Back up top for Daly. Right side point. Fires it through the seam. Opportunity in front there, and the seam pass couldn't find it, but it goes back to Daly towards a goal. McKenzie blocked that before it could get to the net. He's going to head north here over the red line in deep. Gillis got a piece of it, slowed it down enough for Pound, able to pick it up here. Legier in on the forecheck. Into the middle of the ice. Wenzel turned it over. Nice reverse play there. Is Wenzel going to be the only man back here? 40 seconds left to go. Spears up the left side. McDonald does a good job. Keep him to the middle of the ice, but Byrne wide now up the short side, and Scullion in hard. It's going to hit the brakes just in time, so a whistle will go. Regan Spears, Logan from Port Hood, Nova Scotia, home of Brendan Maloney, took kind of the unconventional route. Played for the Cape Breton West Islanders, obviously in the U18 league. And then he played his junior hockey in the Pictou County Crushers and then moved on to play for the St. FX X-Men. And when I say the unconventional route, it's not maybe more common nowadays than it was back in the day of going from junior A to AUS. So good on him.
Yeah, no, obviously it's a tough transition from junior A to the AUS, but you do see some guys, and I think of guys like Carter Murchison, who played in Summerside, had a couple stints in the Quebec League, but still, guys making that jump, good for him. And
a one-time pass, speak of Spears of the Devil. He rips one on the seam with 5 seconds left to go, and it's 9-1 now. And this is about the time of the game where you start to see people head for the exits to get out of the traffic there in the Lance roundabout. But we'll see if they stick around here for this.
And
end of the
you
day,
can
it's
see
still been a
why he
pretty good
made
game.
the jump right there. That
Yes.
was a quick release and a hard shot and a perfectly placed shot in the 7-hole underneath the arm.
Now, you get yourself open up in the high slot there. You're licking your chops, so you really want to make good on that. You know, if that puck finds my stick, it's Spencer's probably there in plenty of time to make that save. So just 5 seconds left to go. Piper's just going to dump that in deep. And that'll do it for 40 minutes here. So a 9-1 lead for the hometown Penguins is where we stand after 40 minutes. 45-14 the shots in favor of the Penguins. We will head to the intermission. The third period is brought to you by Elmsdale Lumber Co. We'll be back with third period action when we return. You're watching the Nova Scotia Senior Hockey League here on High Button Sports. All right, we're back here. Third period just about underway. 20 minutes on the board. A 9-1 lead for the Penguins, 45-14. And I think, Logan, if we're ever going to see a tilt here, it's going to be early on here.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong if maybe the tempers flare later, but I think last 5 minutes may come with an extra game. Probably wrong.
Right
Look
off
at
the
this.
draw, right as
Here
you
we
say
go. Okay, Scullion, Garcin, looks like squaring off. Oh, Scullion went for the big haymaker. Scullion no slouch. Garcin getting a couple rights in. Tucks, weaves, Scullion right off the draw here. Exchanging blows. Left hand by Scullion. The helmet goes flying. The jersey's off now.
Great tilt.
Garcin down to the ice they go, and I'll tap that. What did I say? I could just feel it. That's a nice little tilt there. Good on the number 88 there, who I believe is Garcin. But he's going to get a little skin time here on the camera for sure. And a nice little tilt there, Logan. I know you're a big fan. I can see you foaming at the mouth here. But how's that for your first one on the headset?
No, that was awesome. I know Garcin got a couple right off the go, but Scullion just took it like a champ. And he was throwing rights and lefts. At one point, I think he was just throwing from both hands. And great job there by both men acknowledging each other and dropping, squaring up, and a great tilt here to start the third period.
Now, once that word spreads, fellas, I'll tell you, that'll put a few more butts in the seats here in East Hants. They've been waiting for a fight here, and I just kind of had a feeling when they lined up, just kind of the clientele that was on the ice there. But good on both those gentlemen. You know, the tap of salute, of respect after a fight is one of my favorite things. I didn't do much fighting, and I don't think I ever will, but good on them. Maybe that'll spark the Pipers here for a little comeback. So we're back to gameplay here, because that was a mere 3 seconds into the period, as Gillis will clear that off the stanchion, and Marr. A lofted puck down the right side. Hickey, nice to see him back out there. He took a kind of a weird hit in the first period and was down for a little bit, but returned pretty quickly, so tough as nails, that fella.
Yeah, tough vet. I got called up by second year in U18 or midget, whatever you want to call it, and he was actually playing for Pictou at the time, so kind of cool seeing some of the guys who played Junior A in Pictou go back and play there for some senior hockey.
Now, what I'll say about Pictou specifically is they got a lot of homegrown talent on their team. You look at the rosters, New Glasgow, Stellarton, Pictou County, all those surrounding areas. There's a lot of them that came through the Weeks program, and you know, at the end of the day, if you want to build a community team, you do have to have some local guys on the team. I know East Hants has a couple too, and they'll get a few more as time goes on, but good job by Pictou here to stay kind of in-house. And now was a second chance there off the face-off just right away. These face-off plays, that's what happens when you're dealing with veterans. Up the left side, picked off. Good read by McKenzie as he keeps his team on side. Fires it towards the goal. Gillis, the blocker save, and up into the netting. And I just want to go back to the fight real quick. That's my first fight as a commentator, which I've been waiting for. But Scullion, back in the day, boys, he played Junior B for a long time for the Brookfield Elks. And I'm telling you, you didn't want to mess with this guy. He put the puck in the net. He was that tough back then, too. And, man, he got under your skin. I was fortunate not to have to line up beside him. He was gone by the time I got there. And I think that's maybe partially why I still have all my teeth, knock on wood. But anyways, back to gameplay here. I just wanted to salute those two guys. And I do believe it was Garcin, like I said, only guy without a number on my sheet. So kind of got to do the math on this one. It looks like no verge here for the Pipers for the third period. So
yeah,
maybe they're sparked without him.
I heard he had some skate issues, some skate malfunction, so unable to get that solved. That'll result him not coming back here for the third.
You can't blame him. Blades these days, you have to buy 2 sets just to have them, and not cheap. But anyways, 9-1, I would say there's worse games to be out of. So that one's going to be touched up on the offside is Fudge, who has had a pretty good game here so far for the Pipers. So 18-23 left to go here in the third. Fans still staying in their seats, and I think they kind of thought like we did, maybe a potential to see a little bit of a scrap there, and they got their wish. So senior hockey, baby.
Yeah, and that's one thing about hockey that, does put butts in seats, and it's funny you say it could attract some more fans. Most of the fans were still coming in from getting their beers and food from the canteen, so a few of them actually missed it, but hopefully they'll spread the word here. Pack this place here.
Oh, and a pass out front. Gillis made the first save. And they bang it home there on the back door, and that's going to be Ted McGean, or McGean. And that's going to be his 4th goal this season. And it's 9-2 now, so in order to come back, you got to score, and they've done twice now, so just down to 7 here. Maybe that fight did spark a little bit.
Yeah, and that play started on the back end with the defenseman there, Alexis Jacks. Yeah, he did a great job. Like, he's using those edges. He almost mohawks his way around the ice, like the Sidney Crosby, I guess you refer to as a little bit older, but that mohawk style play. And I remember playing with some kids that they just couldn't get it, and it's a tough skill, and be able to do it that well. You go back and watch that goal. He spins away once, spins away twice, and uses them to get away from the guy to set up the goal. So that's a good sign for Pictou on the back end.
Yeah, he's a new recruit. They just signed him, I think 2 games ago maybe. I saw the post come out, but yeah, real good skater, and he's proven that here now as Wenzel off the left side. Kids getting the crowd going down here. As Hunter chases that down. McGean poked that free. Jacques behind his own goal, and he almost baits you. He's like, I'm going to go slow here, and he wants you to come at him just so he can break away as he'll make his way through the neutral zone now. Left side chip for Legier. Wasn't quite expecting it. Now Jacques will take a little bit of a bump, but he'll get it in deep, and he'll head for a change. Back to collect now is Armstrong. At the right side now is Mason. Mason over to the right side for Hunter, who enters the zone. Top of the circles to the trailer. Wenzel on the backhand towards a goal, and that was waffled away by Spencer Scott. That was Wenzel. Carries it out of the corner, trying to find some space, being chased there by McDonald. Cycles it down low for Rogers, who takes a bump down there. Hunter in to help out. Kicked free. Rogers finishing his check. That's going to come to the blue line and out, as Mason wasn't quite able to get there. So loop it back. Now it's going to go right up the right side. Rogers off the skate just inside the zone. McKenzie reverses it back the other way, and that'll roll through the neutral zone all the way down into Penguins territory. Mason dangerously in front of his own net. Had to be careful as Martin was hot on the scene. Reverse back for Schufelt. Schufelt tangled up by McCumber. Good push here from the Pipers, but the puck's poked free now. Away goes Daly. Up the right side. Gets the red line, takes a bump. Takes a hit to make a play, and now Scott will collect that one off the end wall, and he will cover it up here. 16-11 left to go in the third. 47-17 the shots now in favor of the Penguins, and have an offensive zone face-off here with Burke and Martin, both captains, squaring off here in the offensive zone, or I guess the Penguins' offensive zone.
You talk about homegrown talent for Pictou. Jake Martin is a perfect example of it. Grew up there. Was drafted at Cape Breton, had a couple tryouts up there, and played his junior major Bantam career there, his junior A career there. So a real homegrown talent for their captain.
Yeah, it's a great spot to be. Pictou County, I got nothing but good things. I have family from there. We spend a lot of time there during the hockey season. Just fantastic people. So I could see, the Weeks Crushers, the Pictou County Crushers, a pretty household junior A team. So the draw's there to want to play there. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got guys coaching there, like coaching the younger guys like John Sims. So you're getting a good player in him.
Schufelt taken down on the way up the ice. Play continues. Back to the point. Daly holds it in. Over to the left side point. Shot tipped in front. That one just rolled through the crease. Burke spins off of Jacques. Oh, front. Schufelt drags, shoots, and Scott in good positioning there will make that save. And so tonight's jackpot was $790 here. I do believe it has been drawn. They usually draw it at the start of the third period, but hopefully you got your chance. But this is a weekly thing. It's ongoing, even if the game's not on. Nice way to support your community team and pick up some extra cash, too.
Did you get your tickets today, dudes?
It's conflict of interest. Can't do that. So out to the neutral zone for Thompson. Back for Pike. Pike's going to fire it up the left side. Good win. Good job to get a stick on that. That'll get in deep. Scott kind of got tangled up. Spears in on the forecheck. McKenzie eliminates him. Through the middle of the ice. Fudge picks it up. He'll work through the neutral zone. Chip and chase, and he takes a hit there, but if I know anything about him, he's solid on his feet. Run into him a few times by accident and always got the worst of it. So that's going to be up the right side. That'll miss everybody, and good call there by the officials. That'll go down for icing against the Penguins here, so not going to be able to change as the Pipers will get a full sail change in here. As they'll go Legier, McGean, and McKenzie here on offense. Face-off won by the Penguins. Thompson. Conley, as always. Legier. Now poked through the middle of the ice. McKenzie, good job to protect the puck, but he forgot to take it with him now as Ralph stops up. Chip pass. Thompson joining the play. Good win. Tied up in behind the goal. McKenzie in to help out as he pokes that free. McGean ties up with Thompson. Goodwin working in behind the net. Spears takes a bump. 3-on-1 on the half wall. Excuse me. McKenzie in behind his own net now. Camden McKenzie fires a bullet pass back the other way.
Nice move.
Through the middle of the ice, and that one is going to go down for icing as that one just missed the skates. Maybe if he was wearing a 9.5 or 10, might have hit the tip of the skate there, but we're going to have another icing here. Charge of the Pipers.
Yeah, too bad doesn't everyone have feet like me, hey?
Yeah, that one would have been tipped up, no problem. But officials, I thought, for as much heat as the Zebras usually take in the run of a game, I thought this has been a greatly officiated game so far. They've let the boys play, and they've called the obvious ones, but at this skill level and age group, it's usually pretty obvious penalties.
Yeah, and they've played around the game. They're not going to, argue calls that are pretty obvious. And the refs coming from Jason Blanchard,
That's a good point.
both kids of him, who has been a long-time ref in the Nova Scotia League for many years. And I'm sure you probably may have had him as a ref, and he's probably given you a penalty or two. I know he has for me.
Yes, he sure has. If you played hockey here in Nova Scotia in the last 15 years, he's given you a penalty. And Blanchard was actually, I mentioned it earlier in the game, an intern here for a couple of years. Now, the shot there was off the glove and up and over the netting, but to touch on that again, he was actually in my ref course. And I was a little bit older than everybody. I think, the younger guys had their lunch bags and their parents dropped them off and whatnot. And I was sitting there thinking, I can't believe I'm becoming a ref after all the heartache I've given them over the years. But definitely a thankless job. It's a needed job, and the good ones, they stand out and they move up the ranks. And Blanchard hasn't been reffing that long, so kudos to him and climbing the ranks. And like you said, he comes from a referee family here, so that one pretty obvious how that was going to play out.
He's doing a great job tonight, too.
I just like the way he commands the game. He's got confidence. He's not cocky. He's not trying to get the players going or anything like that or taunting them. He's just doing his thing and looking for penalties. So that's as much as we'll touch on that. Shout out to those boys. It's the Pipers collecting their own zone. McDonald through the middle of the ice, and that one is going to be another icing. So 12:45 left to go here in the third period. The shot's now 47-17. So we'll go down to the right side of Scott here. Shot off the draw. The puck is loose, and it's going to be put home by Ralph.
Another quick hitter off the draw for the Penguins. 9th
goal of the season, according to my stat sheet. But, yeah, there's a lot of chances have come off those faceoffs in the offensive zone. Obviously, these players communicate. That's obvious. But there's a couple plays drawn up. Either that or it's just been a very lucky game off the draw here so far as we have a look at the rebound.
Yeah, it was just a quick shot to the net off the draw, and good job by the defenseman to get that puck through on the face-off win.
That's what we touched on earlier. No shot's a bad shot. Can't remember the last time Coach got upset at you for shooting a puck at the net, maybe on an obvious 2-on-0 or something like that, but those are few and far between as Schufelt. Let him turn a few times, and that'll create some space. And there's that play again where they're going to bank it off the wall. Burke going to get there first in behind the goal. They've scored already on the bounce in the first period. Now it's Spears. Spins off. Taken down there. Good check. Comes out to the point. Held in. Pound. Fires it in deep off the stick of Burke somehow as Spears got tangled up right there with Oxner. So that one's going to come free. McKenzie's going to lead the charge here as he works down the right side. Keeps, carries, shoots, and Gillis a save, and he'll jump out and pounce on the loose puck. And that'll be it for this play. So 11:50. I thought McKenzie's been pretty noticeable here so far in this game. I know he was here last night as the Colts took on the Penguins in Junior B action. Played a little bit with the Dartmouth Voyageurs in the U16. One of the, limited number of players that moved on from the U16 league to the QMJHL. Had a cup of coffee with the Halifax Mooseheads, and actually him and his old man, pretty good friends of mine. So shout out to him. I thought he's been really good here so far tonight, and the ice time has shown.
Yeah, and you mentioned not a lot of guys coming out of that league and go into the Quebec League, and I can only think of one or two really, and Josh Crooks, who had an outstanding career, played up with me at school, and you mentioned that league, and it's a great league, and it's good to see players like that still playing hockey.
It's a
into their
development
older
league, right?
leagues,
And at the end of the day, if he's moving up to the Mooseheads, then they did their job, right? It's a feather in their cap for the Voyageurs, and Crooks the same thing on that same team. And you actually went to the TELUS Cup with them in midget, I guess it was called then. But yeah, nice to see the guys make the jump, and good to see him out here playing the game that he loves.
Yeah, Crooksy, one of the fastest skaters I ever got to play with, and man, he could wheel up and down the sheet.
Now Thompson, speaking of speed, he'll carry it quietly up through the neutral zone. Tried to drop it, and now that would be a great pass, but nobody was there for the Pipers, so that's going to be ripped in for Spears. Scott tried to come out to play it. Back to the point. Armstrong towards the goal. Tipped in front there, and that one just goes up and over the goal. Back to the left point. Off the wall. Tipped in front. That goes wide again as we approach the halfway mark here of the third period. Rimmed around and behind the goal. Chipped in behind. Goodwin couldn't find it. Ralph turns it over. Looking for Spears out front. Couldn't get it to go. Now it's going to come all the way back to the left point once again. Cross ice pass. That's what happens when you look before you make the play. Through the seam now off the skates of Spears, and Mason taken down, or maybe fell. Either way, that one's going to get through every rafter up there. That's not often you see that.
It's the second time this game that's happened, so it's kind of a cool little occurrence.
So Goodwin down off the rush. Going to find that loose puck. Wasn't able to get it to the net as he works around the zone. Cycles it down deep. Ralph, go to the corner, into the middle. Goodwin tried to turn himself around and get a shot off, and now that one's just going to be sent the length of the ice. And that one's going to be icing here. And you mentioned the rafters. I was going to say, well, they play here and they practice here, but they don't. I'm not sure if they do practice. Like you said, you know, this is a great league to be able to have a family, to have a job, continue your scholastic studies, whatever the case may be, and still compete at a high level. So I'm not sure if they got a team practice, but and that does make it a little tougher. You know, it's a little bit easier to get used to your players and your teammates when you're out there getting touches weekly, but
yeah,
a couple games a week, and you know, this is pretty damn good hockey for that, I'll tell you that.
Well, even just keeping up the cardio, I'm guessing the guys probably play some beer league maybe throughout the week to keep that up. But, yeah, no practice for the senior guys, but I'm sure they play a little beer league throughout the week, though.
Yeah, I think that BMO A-League or whatever it is, like the top league, houses a lot of these players, and that's a pretty good skate. I played one game in it and shut her down because it was just too fast. But like you said, it's all about reps, and you know just as well as anybody else, you got to play in order to stay sharp. So now back the other way goes Rogers. A goal in this game already. He's got Baker going to the back post. Baker looking for that loose puck. Now Marr couldn't handle it off the bounce. Martin's got a man streaking. McCumber, quick shoulder check. He's got a man going to the net. Tried to hit Martin on the trailer. It's going to be pushed in deep. McLaughlin, nice pass out front. Somehow escapes everybody. And the net comes off the pegs. And we're going to head to a TV timeout here, so we'll have another quick look at the head-to-head matchups. And we'll be back here in about 30 seconds. All right, that'll do it for the TV timeout. We'll head down to the Penguin zone here. You got to look at the head-to-head matchups, the first and fourth place team. These two went at it last night. The Pictou County Wellness Center, 5-1 win for the Penguins. That game ended up as that shot was tipped, and if that was on net, it was in. Gillis was on the left post, and it got tipped back the other way as it stays in behind the goal now. Burke tangles up with his man. Taylor Burke through the middle. Not sure how he got it through. Good pass by Hunter as he finds Daly coming through the middle. Daly takes down McCumber. McCumber quick giggle there as sometimes you have the good intentions, then you could take it down and you go, man, I went down easy there, and you just have to kind of laugh it off and continue on. But good on him. Still trying to finish his checks out here, and that's the name of the game here. 10-2, 3-2, whatever the case. You want to stay, especially in good habits here. Now a stretch pass there. They had Legier in behind. Good job by the Pipers here. If I'm them, I'm trying to take some risks offensively too and maybe drag that weak side winger out of the zone. A lot of the offense comes from the Penguins' blue line, where they do a great job of holding the zone in the offensive side of things. And now they're going to head back the other way with a good, clean, crisp first pass on the breakout, as Burke just being mauled down there, and they just can't take him down. But that fellow owns a gym, so that's a little bit of a cheat code.
Yeah, that might be another way to stay in shape other than playing some beer league hockey.
Yep, Burke's Performance Training, I do believe it's called. Also taking along a lot of the local players, and has been around for quite a while now, so good to see, and that's part of his game too. It does certainly help if you're in shape. I learned that on Sunday nights mostly. Now is Ralph. Gets in over the line, had it poked off his stick. Good communication there is Mason. Lofts one on goal. Scott didn't want to hold on to it. Wants to keep things moving here. Jacques, look at that, just gingerly. Very confident with the puck as he'll move it for McGean. McGean in over the middle of the ice. Had it poked off his stick. Puck sticking a little bit now. Is up the right side. Goodwin collects on the backhand. Works down the right side. Drag shot there. That was off the blocker. Off the glass. Into the netting and out of play. So just about 50 shots here for the Penguins. And listen, 10-2, but that's not telling the whole story here. That's 40 saves so far, and we are just about halfway through this third period.
That's almost 50. There's 49 shots up there. That's a 9. So they almost have 50 shots on goal. So really 40 saves in a game. You're doing all right for yourself.
Especially when you're not even near the end, really. I know 7 minutes isn't that much time, but 40 shots is usually, a game's worth. Team plays pretty well. It's 60 minutes, 40 shots. I'm not great at math, but that's almost a shot a minute. So kudos to the goalies here. That must be the toughest thing for this senior, is maybe coming out of retirement to strap the pads on. I don't know if anybody here has played goalie. Maybe just as a joke, Mason, I guess, but it's a lot tougher than it looks out there for sure. In the corner now. Cycle down deep. Trying to work it towards the front of the goal there was Duff. And it's going to be rimmed around to the far side now. Goodwin looking for his options. He'll carry. He's going to get the red line. He'll get it in deep, and he'll head for a change. And it'll be a full sail change here for the Penguins, as the Pipers will have plenty of time to break out. Schufelt line comes back out. Trying to dump it in. To cross. Carried up through the neutral zone now. Across the red. Now over the blue. Right down Broadway down the left side. Opportunity shot there was Pound. The save made. He takes a hit off the glass. That's going to come all. All right, I think we're back now, folks. Sorry about that. Quick technical difficulty. No big deal. I didn't miss much. Still 10-2. Just over 4 minutes left to go here in the third period, as Scott will smother that one up, and he'll hang on. So if you know anybody or you're talking to somebody, tell them to hit refresh real quick. Looks like we are back. Sorry about that. So face off in the Piper zone here. 4:11 to go here in the third period. Looks like some of the fans starting to hit the exits here now. Maybe trying to catch Daddy Greens before it closes. Jacques down the left side. Nice little move. Backhand chance there. That didn't miss by much, as he tried to go far side glove. Now is Baker back the other way. Had it poked off his stick. Jacques back with it again. He'll move it up the left side now for Legier. Legier. Go ahead.
I've been really impressed with Jacques' game here so far. Even though they're down by 8, he's been solid. He skates the puck really well and plays with confidence and poise, and I've really enjoyed watching him play tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a great addition for this Pipers team, and I know the fans will be happy to see him too. And, a lot of the times the good players attract good players as well. I'm not saying the players aren't good, but every team has room to gain some quality players here, as Baker went for the hit. That's going to be dumped in by Jacques. He's one of those players that's tough to hit. It's impossible to predict where he's going to go, and hitting's all about timing. As Liney got caught in the crosshairs there. Now is Legier in behind down the left side. 2-on-1 forming. Legier stopped up, and McGeen tried to help out, but he kind of got caught drifting to the middle of the ice. This is coming this way, folks. Heads up. That's how our last commentator got hit, was the old dump in now as Daly walks in over the line. Good job by Marr to stay on side. Daly just fires one towards the goal. Rogers has to hurry up there, and now they're going to be good. Not enough players on the ice for that particular moment as they'll pull it back in behind their own goal. 10:04 p.m. here. East Hants, Nova Scotia. Lance, more specifically, as the puck is carried through the neutral zone. Pound, right side. Not sure if that was a intentional fake, but it worked out as now Wenzel. He'll boogie across the blue line. Cross ice pass right on the tape. Back door. Hunter looking for the return. Bounced off his stick now as Wenzel. Back into the slot for Hunter. Hunter tried to pull the trigger quickly. Bounced over his stick. Thompson works it back. Hunter gets the return pass. Good job to get into some space. Now he fakes a shot. Pulls over to the left side. Pound shot there. Nice save, Scott. Real good look there. And that's all it takes, Logan, right there, as Hunter just took that one quick push off the right foot. Got himself into a space. And then he went for the fake shot. All he did was open the blade up for a split second. Goalie got set. Defenseman bit, and he slid it over to the left side, and they got a real good chance out of it.
Yeah, Hunter finished up his junior A career in Grand Falls in New Brunswick, and he had a pretty good career, and now coming back home to play, and another guy that's probably in pretty good shape with that gym you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, no doubt. And I hate to correct you on the air, but I'm pretty sure he got dealt to the Valley Wildcats at the end of his...
Did he? Oh, okay.
So I could be wrong, though. I've been wrong before and most likely will be again. But regardless of all that, everything else stands true. It's nice to see the local talent stay at home. And real good spot to play. And I know he's well liked in the dressing room for sure. I actually had a summer where I worked with Ty at Penn Hills, oddly enough. And always liked hanging around with him, especially the young pups. You know, you keep you up on the lingo and stuff like that. Aging myself a little bit here, but
did he teach you what 6'7" meant, or
no,
you
that
still
didn't
don't know?
exist yet. I won't listen to that anyways. As that shot from distance is smothered up by Gillis. So Gillis looking pretty close to improving his record to 8-1 here. Just the one loss to the Truro Bearcats, which I was actually in attendance for. So pretty good season so far for the Penguins. But listen, the Bearcats are clawing right at their tails here. Andy Ganesh coming into their own, and at some point the Pipers are going to strike. So,
yeah, and you mentioned Truro. Truro's a big team. They got some guys that came out of the, like you said, some more local talent in the Lansley brothers, but they also got guys like Jake Christie, who grew up playing with me in Tassa, and then was a captain for the Steel Subarus and played a good career in Truro Junior A. So guys going back, he said, once again to their old Junior A teams to play in the Senior League. So it's just to show you how some of these teams are going to get players in the future and to keep this league going.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many players that aren't going to have a place to play. Even, at the end of my career, I think this would have been a cool option for me. I wasn't good enough to play AUS. I definitely wasn't good enough to play in the queue, but there's a chance I could have maybe slotted in on one of these lineups. But it just gives you more options, and you don't want to see guys give up the dream too early, as a guy who, look at this, stretch pass there, as a guy who finished hockey years and years ago. It's the camaraderie and the competitiveness and obviously the stuff in the room that you miss the most. So, listen, I'll vouch for anybody that wants to come back and play. It's pretty good hockey, and every chance I get to get on the mic for these games, I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, and this is my first year removed from the game, so I'm going through all those feelings right now. So I a little late to the ball here trying to figure things out for this year, but who knows about next year. Maybe you'll see me out there flying up and down the sheet. I don't know about flying, but trying to get up and down the sheet.
Hot off the press, Logan Carruthers, free agent 2026, 2027. You heard it here first. The only deal is you can't take him from the games that he's on. He's too valuable on the mic. So there's the rules right there, but do with that what you will.
The stipulations of the contract.
That's it. It'll be in writing. 35 seconds left to go. Gillis is going to clear that himself as the shot from McKenzie. That's going to roll down onto the net. Scott, don't hate that from him. He saw the 30 seconds. It's 10-2. I'm trying to keep the game going too, probably, but Piper's able to collect. Chipped off the wall. I appreciate that, captain. He had every chance in the book to fire that up head high at us, and he got the job done without killing anybody up here, so shout out to him.
You mentioned the goaltender's keeping the play moving. Gillis is probably like, all right, guys, let's keep this going. I got to put my kids to bed at this point.
Yes, exactly. They're well past their bedtime now. Nice to see him back in the net, and that will do it here officially, folks. I know we rambled on the last couple minutes there, but it's going to be a 10-2 Penguins victory here on home ice. 51-20, the shots on goal. We thank you all for tuning in here on a Saturday night from the Igloo. My name is Matt Dudelet, along with Logan Carruthers and newly joined Mason Denike on the camera and producing. So with all that said, Everyone there at home, if you're traveling, drive safe, and if not, get cozy at home, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you, guys.